Hi, my name is Maciek.
And I'm Luke.
And welcome to the My Pen is Huge podcast.
Today we will be discussing / reviewing / analyzing the movie Sky High, which is a 2005 classic. Who the fuck directed this movie?
Mike Mitchell in the grand year 2005.
It was also published by Walt Disney Pictures. According to the quote on the box, it is a clever hybrid of Harry Potter and The Incredibles. That was said by talentless hack Stephen Holden of the New York Times.
So, a bunch of bullshit.
This hat looks fucking lame. I'm getting rid of it.
That's okay. Alright, let's get into this shit. Where do you want to start off with this hunk of trash?
I think we should discuss first the filmmaking aspects, like writing, acting, directing, cinematography, and then get into the implications of this movie.
The fascist undertones.
Yes.
Which will be coming up soon, ladies and gentlemen.
In my opinion, the job of a children's movie should be to, maybe teach a lesson, to give the kids a moral. And I feel like, in terms of filmmaking, and you might disagree with me here, I think it's fine. Like, there are some bad parts, don't get me wrong, but, like, the writing is decent. Most of the acting is fine. It's, surface level. But in terms of the moral, in terms of the lesson that a child would learn from this fucking Disney movie, that is problematic. So I feel like we should discuss those two things separately.
Okay, so filmmaking aspects first?
Yes, let's discuss that.
So, in my personal opinion, I feel like, and yeah, I know it's like a Disney movie, so I'm not expecting like fucking, like
Christopher Nolan, Inception.
Yeah, like the greatest cinematography of all time, but like I expected a little better. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know who the fuck Mike Mitchell is. I've never heard of any movie he's ever made, and I'm sure he hasn't made one since.
I'm gonna look up his IMDb page. Keep going.
Alright, and I feel like the movie just looks like a made-for-TV, like, generic family sitcom. Like, the lighting never changes. Ever. It's always, like, there are no shadows. Like, ever.
The only time the lighting is somewhat different is in the scene with, the villain and her little goblin minion guy.
Yeah, and then the glow stick fucker. What's his name?
The glow stick fucker?
Yeah, the asshole that, like, his superpower is he glows in the dark.
Oh, yeah,
yeah, glow stick. Chad? Yeah, perfect.
No, Zach, that's his name.
Zach, yeah.
Zach.
Oh, Zack Attack, right?
Yeah, Zack Attack.
Oh my god, the writing. We'll get into that in a second. But basically, the lighting, like, I'm not expecting it to be, like, some, like, moody, like, superhero movie.
Mm-hmm.
But the lighting is so generic and boring. Like, nothing exciting happens. And then the camera work is fine. There's nothing spectacular. I mean, it's just mostly still shots, and it's kind of boring to watch sometimes. I feel like they could do something. Like, if it's a children's movie, you'd think they'd do something creative.
Yeah, something energetic, something fast-paced,
Not just like...
It's just pointing a camera at these people in suburban America, and they're just eating a fucking dinner. It's the most boring thing I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, I know, they're wearing, like, fucking button-up shirts, like, glasses, like they're from fucking 1950s, like, getting, like, ready for the nuclear war, because of the fucking Cold War, but, like, yeah, and then, so camera work's kind of boring. Lighting is boring. There's nothing really spectacular about the movie. And did you find anything on this cunt?
I'm finding Mike Mitchell. Hold up.
Nothing yet?
Alright, there. He's bald.
Pinhead?
So, yeah, he looks like a fucking pinhead. He looks like Patrick. He directed Monsters vs. Aliens. Oh my fucking god. And feel free to chime in, our glorious camera woman who will be standing there for a fucking hour just pointing her iPhone at us.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
Also,
what is your opinion on Monsters vs. Aliens?
That movie was terrible.
Go on.
That's all I remember from it. I mean, I barely remember anything except that it was terrible.
Oh my god, he directed Trolls.
he directed Shrek 3D. Wait! Kung Fu Panda? Like the show? Oh my god.
Kung Fu Panda 3. The movie.
Holy fuck.
Penguins of Madagascar, Puss in Boots. Alright, fuck this guy.
So Mike Mitchell has directed some shitty movies.
He has.
But the transition has been made from live action to animation, which there's a reason why. It's because Sky High was fucking trash. I don't know how it got a 73% Rotten Tomatoes. I don't know what culmination of critics agreed that the movie's decent, but you know, I don't know. So you said that you think the filmmaking aspects are fine?
Yeah, I mean, here's the, like, so, like, for example, some of the writing, don't get me wrong, like, that one part where, Jetstream is like, Commander, when are we going to brief the president about, crime infiltration in the 423 district? Like, no one talks like that.
Yeah.
They'll be like, yo, when are we talking to the president? When's that meeting? Like, that's how people fucking talk. No one says, when are we briefing the president about crime? Like,
Yeah.
like, it was, some of the dialogue was robotic, some of it was very, like, not the way a human being would talk.
It's like a writer wrote it. Like,
but
basically.
I don't feel like that's representative of the whole movie. There is some dumb dialogue, but some of it, a lot of it I feel was fine. Like, it's not like the fucking dude wrote, like, Shakespearean sonnets, okay? There's nothing groundbreaking being said here, but, you know, most of it was fine. It was surface level. It was okay. And then there were a few things that were just fucking hilarious, like when are we briefing the president about crime or whatever.
What was the last line of the movie? It's like, but hey, that's high school.
It was like,
what the fuck is it?
my best friend became my girlfriend, my worst enemy became my best friend, and the segregation in the society continued. But hey, that's high school.
Yep. So,
yeah.
you know, high school is all about, well, actually...
But you know what I mean? Like, that's kind of how, like, someone would talk, you know? I could see, like, some fucking dude just being like, but hey, that's high school. You know, like, that was...
But the last line to the movie being, but hey,
but
that's high school. Like, that's just so cheesy, and, like, I feel like they could have done better. Like, yeah, I know they're writing for, like, what, 10-year-olds?
Mm-hmm.
But even 10-year-olds deserve something a bit better than, but hey, that's high school, right? And the writing, for me, I thought there were some, like, really good jokes. Honestly.
Yeah, there were a few.
Like, the one with the phones, where he, like, broke the phone, then he opened the drawer, and there's, like, 10 more.
I mean, that's not writing, but I agree that was hilarious.
I mean, someone had to write that gag.
Well, true.
So, like, that, in that aspect, it's fine. There were some lines that I liked.
Some of the, like, the props, like the fucking door that he just ripped off with his super strength, like, that looked great. Like, anything practical, like, they actually, you know, put 10 fucking phones in that drawer, and, like, they actually broke a phone, they actually ripped a door off. Everything they actually did, they did well.
Yeah.
But the CGI, the green screen shit, some of that was awful.
Oh my god.
So, I'm not even going to say that the practical effects were decent. I would say the parts that they actually did, the real practical effects were awesome, and I fucking loved those. Like, the part where, like, the commander, the dad character with the super strength, he gets really angry, and he's, like, calling the school because his kid was put in the sidekick class, not the superhero class. He's, like, calling the school, and he breaks the fucking phone, and he, like, throws it down, he opens the door, he's got, like, 10 of them, because presumably this happens a lot. Like, and then, when Will finally gets his superpowers, and, by the way, spoiler warning.
Oh, yeah, let's just put that halfway through the episode. Yeah. Spoiler warning, sorry.
When Will finally gets his superpowers, and he comes home, and he, like, it's the first time he's ever had super strength, and he's, like, opening the door, and he just fucking rips it off. Like, that looked great, that was funny, it was awesome. Mm-hmm. And then the CGI happened.
Oh, you know what I did enjoy?
What?
And this had to be CGI, but I thought this actually looked decent when, like, the whole fucking school came down and he caught that shit on the house. That actually looked kind of cool. I don't know how the fuck they did that. I mean, I'm assuming it's CGI, or they, like, you know, it was, like, a part of, like, a metal thing.
No, he just actually lifted the entire fucking school.
Yeah, I know. But then I think, like, okay, well, what the fuck happened to gravity? Like, how did he not go through that house? But, you know, let's just not get into that. It's a fucking kids movie. Whatever. We had a couple lines written down that we really liked.
There were.
But I don't even remember what they were.
Oh, yeah, like, there was that one part where, like, the fucking, like, the girl gets her ass slapped, and then she freezes the people.
Yeah!
First off, murder. Murder was occurred several times in the movie.
Yeah, not even murder. Like, sexual assault is
Yes.
rampant in this school. Like, the woman got, like, her ass slapped by, like, these two kids walking by. The gym teacher slapped another kid's ass, remember?
Oh, yeah,
when he, like, shapeshifted into them, and he's like, hey, good looking, you fucking smacked his ass. That's not okay. He's, like, 14, and when Bruce Campbell's, like, what, 40? Get the fuck out of here. And then...
But yeah, like, the girl,
Oh my
like,
God.
the girl... she has like freeze breath, so like this fucking dude like slaps her ass and then she breathes on him, and like the entire school year goes, and it's like fucking prom. Like they've been there for like 3 or 4 quarters and the dude's still fucking there. He's definitely died of starvation.
Wait, how did they even get into prom? Or was it homecoming?
I don't fucking remember. It was some dance.
Whatever.
Anyway, after that happened, some dude was like, "Yeah, go freeze, girl," and I fucking cringed. That was
Yeah.
the exact line, and I wrote it down. It was as it was said, because it made me want to kill myself.
Yeah, there was a couple arcs that I liked in terms of writing.
Okay.
Or like little like details.
Why?
No. And I think you'll agree with me on this one. So All American Boy, when you when you find out that he's always loved Jetstream,
That was the funniest shit. But it wasn't done well. We were laughing because it was so stupid.
I never said it was done well. I just liked it.
You said you liked it.
But that doesn't mean it was done well. I
Look,
just thought it was fun.
Right,
Like,
let's stop talking so vaguely because people haven't watched this fucking movie. No one's watched this movie other than us.
yeah.
Right, so
no one's touched-
describe this subplot.
So basically, All American Boy, so he teaches the sidekick class, and, you know, Will comes into the class with, like, all the other freshmen, and he finds out that he's, you know, the commander's and Jetstream's son, and All American Boy's like, oh, you know, I used to be a sidekick for, you know, the commander or whatever. He's like, did your father ever talk about me? He's like,
Nah.
I don't know. Who the fuck are you, right? And then All American Boy's like, well, goddamn. And he's
He
like...
starts crying.
Yeah,
like,
he,
right
like-
then and there.
And he, like, has this fondness for Jetstream, I guess. And then at the end, when... What the fuck is the villain's name?
Royal Pain.
Royal Pain takes out her fucking pacifier gun.
First off, don't worry. We will get to the shitty superhero and supervillain names.
Yeah.
They are all awful.
And so Royal Pain turns a bunch of people into babies. And All-American Boy jumps and saves Jetstream from falling onto the ground as a baby.
Jetstream's power is that she can fly. So she's flying, and then she gets turned into a baby by this fucking, like, laser gun. Like, it shoots you, you turn into a baby, and then she's like, this baby is 10 feet in the air, it's careening towards the ground head first. And then All-American Boy, like, jumps and grabs the fucking baby.
Yep.
It's like, what was her actual name? I don't remember.
I don't even know.
Her name is Giselle. Fuck it.
Giselle?
Giselle, I've always loved...
And then he gets pacified.
Shot.
Yep. And although the build-up to that wasn't perfect...
Was non-existent.
Yeah, you're right. He always mentioned the relationship with the commander, but he never mentioned it with Jetstream.
Look, Jetstream barely exists. She's just the
That's
commander's
true.
wife.
Yeah, that's actually kind of fucked up, but I guess we'll get into that with the whole implications in the movie later on. But I liked it. I just wish they had more build-up, because I feel like that was actually kind of like a good twist, I guess, if it was built up better. I don't know, I just liked the idea of it. And then the other thing I liked...
I want a whole movie just about the All-American Boy secretly fucking Jetstream on the side.
like All-American Boy
let's
getting
make that
cucked.
movie.
All-American Boy getting cucked by the commander in Jetstream. Like, he's in the closet
The commander
watching.
stole his girl. Let's call up Disney. Let's make this pitch. I want to make this fucking movie.
Can you imagine All-American Boy is like a drunk? He's like an alcoholic. Like after school, he's like in the like he goes to that Chinese restaurant that what's his name again?
Who?
The fire dude.
War and Peace.
Yeah, War
His
and
name
Peace.
is War and Peace, but it's Warren Peace.
Pete, yeah.
That's his fucking name. It's awful. It's really awful.
So yeah, it's just like, you know, you see All-American Boy go to this fucking restaurant and he's drinking like, you know, that Japanese or Chinese like vodka or whatever the fuck it's called.
Sure.
And he's just, you know, taking shots by shots. He's like, fuck. Will told me that the commander doesn't remember who I am. And he's like, he's looking at photos of Jetstream. He's like, oh, fuck. Or what if he was gay? And what if he liked the commander? That'd be some crazy ass shit.
Nah. Why
Why not? That'd be fucking... Disney could be all inclusive. All inclusive in 2018, dude.
But that would just contradict the lore of Sky High. Like, you can't.
What lore? What are you talking about?
Like with what we've already established. You know, like he clearly loves Jetstream.
Well, maybe I mean it's 2005. You couldn't say you were gay, dude.
Listen. All right, look. No one. I doubt anyone would give a shit if you were gay. Like he's already a sidekick. Like
Yeah,
he's
he wears
already
those short
basically a slave.
Oh yeah. Do you want to get into that? Yeah, or do you have something
No.
else you want to say about the movie?
Okay, I'm gonna go back to the beginning in the movie. First off, awful opening credits, right?
Oh.
It's like Comic Sans, yellow font, like Windows Movie Maker opening credits. And they never fucking end, alright?
Yeah, they like go on for like
Like the
7
second
minutes?
act of the movie started, and then we were still seeing the opening fucking credits.
Executive producer, whatever the fuck his name is, like
Yeah, like, okay, and then we get introduced to the Commander and Jetstream. Holy shit, are those terrible superhero names? Could
Yeah.
you come up with something less lame?
that's
Could
true.
you? Is it possible? Is it humanly possible? I don't know.
The commander. I mean, what they call him, like the general.
What's he the fucking commander of? People who wear tights?
Wait, maybe it's the commander because it's like a fascist dictatorship. And then Jetstream. I don't know. Maybe that was.
She flies, whatever, it's lame. Like,
Yeah.
okay, then we have a narrator. And this narrator
There's a narrator.
yeah, at the beginning of the fucking movie, and then at the end, there's narration from Will. We
Yeah.
never hear narration throughout the rest of the movie.
That's lazy writing.
I hate that trope. It's like being sick sucks. Anyway, like that trope of like, oh, we don't know how to introduce people to a new universe, so we'll have a narrator at the beginning. Like, for fuck's sake, watch Harry Potter. Like, that shit, they had so much shit to introduce. And, like, in the first 2 minutes, you understood what was going on.
Yeah, because like how you make a good movie is in the first 10 minutes you need to establish like the world of the movie, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
like by having them narrate in the first like 30 fucking seconds of like what the fuck is going on, like that's just not only is it poor writing, but it's just poor filmmaking, and it really like you lose the chance of like really making like a cinematic impression of the world and like really showing like, oh, like, you know, this is a world of superheroes. Like, you know, there's the Commander and Jetstream, they're the most popular, but like, you know, there's also like, I don't know, Captain Dickhead over here like punching robots in the balls, you know what I mean? Like, you're able to show that bit. Like, film is a visual medium. You don't need a narrator saying what's going on. That's just lame, and like
yeah.
it's just a poor start.
It's just a terrible way to, like, introduce us into this fictional world. Like, there are such better ways to, like, explain how this world works.
Yeah.
And they don't even do it well. Because I don't know how this fucking world works. Like at the beginning, he's, like, the commander is talking to Will about joining the family business. What the fuck is the family business? Is there a superhero union? Are you government employees? How does any of this work? Which, admittedly, like, a lot of superhero movies don't explain, like, the specifics of how, like, superheroes work and,
Except
like, what
for-
their role in society is.
Except for Captain America, like the later on, or like the movies later on, when they like explain like how the fucking government's like, you know, we have to
Yeah.
abolish, like that shit's cool, right?
Yeah. Like, the thing is, though, like, just because a lot of movies don't explain it doesn't mean it's acceptable to not fucking explain it.
Oh yeah, of
I like-
course. I just wish like, wait, what were you gonna say? I'm sorry.
No, keep going.
I was just gonna say like if they did what Captain America did, I don't even remember which one it was, like Civil War. or the
Civil
one-
War, yeah, the third one.
when they like established like, you know, like superheroes like can have like their actions have like actual consequences, and like, you know, when the government gets involved, like it's some serious shit. Sky High doesn't need to delve into that, right? It doesn't need to delve into like the implications of your superpowers.
Yeah, we don't need to have the fucking FBI show up and be like, Commander, you fucked up. Like,
Commander, you have murdered like 30 people, punching that big ass robot in the face. It like collapsed. You basically caused 9/11 Part 2.
Although,
we're gonna have to arrest you for
I
terrorism.
think it would have been fun if, like, the FBI showed up at Sky High and would be like, hello, stop murdering students, please.
Yeah, that big dickhead, the thumb looking motherfucker.
Megamind, but not blue.
Yeah, when he froze that kid with the freeze ray that the Gwen, or what's her name? Gwen Grayson?
Gwen Grayson.
That she built for him, the techno rat, or whatever the fuck it's called. Like, yeah, anyway, besides the murder and the sexual assault.
Yeah, like, that's just a normal occurrence. That's not treated as abnormal at all. Like, students are just regularly murdered by the teachers at this fucking school.
Yeah, Bruce Campbell tried murdering Will. He's like, oh, you have super strength? Oh, wait, you don't have super strength? Car. Almost crushes him.
The fucking, yeah, like, they had this car that they would drop when people said, oh, I have super strength, and, you know, the car would fall, and they'd have to catch it. And, like, Will is like, oh, I don't have superpowers. And he's like, you're just messing with the coach, just like your old man. Car? And he just fucking drops the car on him.
Yeah, Will got, like one like that. And, like, if he hadn't done that, he would have died.
Yeah, and then, like, the coach tries to fucking murder him. And then, after that, he's like, oh, so you're a flyer, just like your mom. Alright. And then the fucking, like, ground, like, springs him into the wall, and he just careens into it. He ends up in the fucking hospital and has to have surgery.
Like, his spine hits, like, a cement, like, the corner of a cement fucking pillar, and, like, just... I don't know.
Like, children are murdering each other, the teachers are murdering the children, the students are being put in the hospital in the fucking PE class. Like, this world is insane.
Wait!
There are no rules!
I have a question.
Ask.
So, they never established, you know, how the superhero world works, right? With, like, normal people and shit. And so, you know the scene where Will gets into a fight with Warren, and they fuck up the entire lunchroom?
Yeah.
Where do they get the funding to, like, fix the goddamn place, right? Like, CPS gets nothing, but is that them too? Like, they just basically get no funding for their school? I mean, they have an anti-gravitational, like, fucking force that allows them to stay, like, a couple thousand feet in the air. But, like, where do they get the funding to, like, fix up their shit?
Like, Warren has the power to, like, shoot fireballs and shit. He basically lights the fucking lunchroom on fire. He destroys the cafeteria. No one cares. There are no repercussions. Like, Will is literally thrown through the fucking wall into the teacher's lounge. Like, damn. Like, guess we gotta fix the wall. That's their only fucking concern. So, like, they don't care that the students are trying to murder each other. And I guess, yeah, they just... I don't fucking know. They have the people without powers fix it for free. Like, free labor, slavery. I don't fucking know. And that's not established, but that's just a guess because the world is fucked up.
I mean, like, Ron Wilson... Or what's his name?
Ron Wilson, bus driver.
Wilson. Ron Wilson.
Yes,
bus driver.
He has fucking, like cards, like business cards. He's like, I'm Ron Wilson, bus driver. And he gives you a fucking business
And he has, like, a phone number, and, like, Will actually uses it at one point in the movie for some reason. And, like, Ron, like, man, they couldn't have made him more cliche. Like, he's, like, some fat fuck with no powers. And, like, on his spare time, he, like, takes a fucking mop and, like, fucking, like, what, does, like, kung fu bullshit with it? Like, come on, dude.
And speaking of cliches, this movie is fucking full of cliches. Like, for one thing, I'm not... Like, Will sees Gwen, right? Gwen is the hot senior. And the most cliche thing ever happens. He sees Gwen, and she's, like, giving this speech, and then gets fucking fuzzy, and, like, he can't hear her, and it plays, like, fucking some bullshit song that I don't remember.
Down, but I don't know.
Yeah, like, fuck me. Alright, those chicken nuggets are devastating, man. They're destroying my stomach. Anyway, like, he sees her, and he stops listening to what she's saying, and, like, the fucking romantic music plays, like, fucking Careless Whisper. Da, 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 da. It's the most cliche thing ever. And it's just so out of place and so fucking weird in this movie. Yeah. And here's the thing. If the whole movie had been dumb and ridiculous like that, with, like, over-the-top music playing and, like, people fucking dramatically, like, zooming in on their fucking lips and, like, you can't hear what they're saying, like, that, if it had just been a fucking acid trip, that would have been one thing. But, like, that happens, and then we just go back to boring-ass pointing the camera at people in suburban America. And it feels so out of place, and it's so cliche, and it's so annoying, and it happens 3 fucking times, and every single time it happened, I wrote it down vigorously in all caps, and I got so annoyed.
I was gonna mention, like, that's one of the problems with this movie. So aside from the problematic relationship with Gwen, which I'll mention in a minute,
oh my god.
Yeah, I know. I hate that the movie is so torn between boring suburban America and then fucking ridiculous superpowers, and I feel like it needs to pick one or the other. You can't be both.
Yeah.
And I wish it was like Spy Kids. It was balls to the wall.
Well, yeah, I wish it was just dumb. I wish it was retarded.
But like Spy Kids is actually good because it has a consistent tone. It's like here, always. Sky High is like this.
The only thing consistent about Sky High is that it is inconsistent.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And like, yeah, besides that, Gwen and Will. So Will is 14, Gwen is 18.
Not really, though.
Not really, but in the movie.
Yeah.
That's...
Gwen was an adult woman who was then turned into a baby, and then she re-aged. She's been alive for like 50 fucking years. But, you know, her life, like, hit the reset button at around, like, 40 or 50, and she is now 18 again.
So,
and
basically...
she makes out with, Will.
A 14... So, 50-year-old making out with 14-year-old, so, you know, pedophilia.
Of course. Why not?
Right, and what the fuck is it called? That type of rape, where it's, like, even if it was just, like, an 18-year-old with a 14-year-old, what is that called again?
It's fucking, statutory rape.
Statutory, right? So, I mean, besides that whole twist where she's actually 50, if it was like a 14-year-old with an 18-year-old, that's still statutory. And like, yeah, people were like, Will's a guy though, like, good for him, like he's smashing like an 18-year-old. But like, if it was the other way around,
oh dude, it would have been fucking...
So it's fucked up either way.
People would have lost their minds.
Right, it's fucked up either way. And like, can you imagine if it was a 50-year-old guy macking some fucking 14-year-old superhero?
Oh, no.
Oh my god. Like,
Disney would be shut down.
Exactly.
It would be over. We'd wrap this shit up.
And then, aside from that, Gwen is a manipulative bitch.
Oh,
she like destroys his friendship.
I mean, to be fair, she is the villain. But yeah, she's fucking awful.
Wait, what's that girl's name? The nature bitch. Susie.
I think? I don't fucking know.
Or, I don't even remember.
I'm trying to find it in my fucking 5 pages of notes.
Right, but yeah, so like she ruins their whole friendship. They've been best friends for like years, like, I don't know, a decade or something. And then Gwen's like, yeah, he doesn't want you anymore, he's with me. Like, go fuck yourself, bitch. And it's like,
yeah.
Wow. And then Will's destroyed by this. And I'm glad Will stood up for himself.
Her name was Layla.
Layla, right. I'm glad he stood up for himself and dumped her on the spot because fuck Gwen.
Yeah.
But like, Jesus Christ, Gwen was like trying to destroy Will's life and was like controlling him and like, gosh, like Jesus. And then I like Layla a lot. And, and this could be a good segue into what you want to talk about. Implications.
So just 2 more things. One more cliche. There's the party, and then the dad comes home. And he's like, I want everyone out of this house, and they all fucking run out. It was so cliche, I almost expected there to be a fucking record scratch. Like, they're all partying, they're all musicking, that's a fucking word. They're all listening to music, and then, like, you hear the commander, and it's like, and then, like, it fucking focuses on him. I almost expected that to happen. But, like, the music immediately stops. Like, he says one word, and the DJ's like, oh, fuck this. I'm out of here.
Yeah, and, like, how do they not notice them walk in? Like, they have to go to the door.
He's in the middle of the fucking room.
And he's, like, staring at them. And he's like, all right.
Let's get a move on.
Yeah, so that was trash. Yeah. And then what's the other thing?
And then, the other one was the fact that the Secret Sanctum. He's like, and remember, you must never take anyone into the Secret Sanctum. Remember, Will. Like, he fucking stares into the camera and says it like 3 times. It's like, remember, you must never take anyone into the Secret Sanctum.
And it's not even a big deal when it actually happens.
No,
it's like a cut.
He doesn't fucking care.
Right. But like when it actually happens, there's no build up. It's not like Will's like, oh my god, babe, I need to take you down to this like secret sanctum that my parents have. Like, boop, like presses the button with the stupid fire poles so they can go down. No, it's like they're in his room. Cut. They're in the secret sanctum, walking around chilling, and it's like, what? I thought this was like a big deal. I thought
this was a big deal. What the fuck?
And like, this is a key moment in the movie because like that's how she gets her stupid gun back.
Yeah, the fucking, like, the gun that if it shoots you, you turn into a baby, yeah.
But there's no build-up, it just happens. It's a cut, it's just...
She just like looks at him and she's like, man, I wish there was somewhere we could be alone. And he doesn't say like, oh, I have an idea or anything. She just says, oh, I wish there was somewhere we could be alone. And then they're in the fucking secret sanctum. It just cuts right to it. He doesn't say anything. And it was ridiculous. Anyway, last thing. All of the powers look fucking awful. Every single one of them.
Oh my god,
okay?
when Jetstream flies?
Jetstream flying looks awful. Okay, the dude who can turn into a ball and then he gets kicked and the coach says side kick, which is admittedly a funny joke.
That was funny.
That ball looked fucking awful. You couldn't just put a real ball there. You had to CGI the fucking ball. Really? The token minority. The black kid. The guy who can turn into the fucking goo. Awful. Just looked awful. Why didn't you just call me? I'm sick. I'll vomit on the fucking floor for you. It'll look better than that bullshit.
Hey, you know what though? As shitty as that stretchy fuck looked, you know, the one of the bullies, where it's like the fast one and then the one that stretches, I really enjoyed some of like the practical effects that they did with that. So like, besides the CGI, right, there's a scene where like he extends his arm to like grab something from him, and then like they have the camera like at, you know, Will's face, and then you see his hand like come through. I like that a lot. I thought that was kind of neat, and like even like for a kids movie, it's kind of neat. But the rest of it looked like ass. But when he tied him up to the pole during the Save the Citizen game, where he's like, they're trying to figure out, like, basically the game was like they're in a gym and there's a citizen tied up to like a rope and there's like spikes spinning and shit, and it's like coming down. They have 3 minutes to save him, right? And Will would like basically take the stretchy cunt and like put him against some kind of pole and like you know, tie his arms together. That shit looked awesome, in my opinion. I think
that
really
scene
cool.
In general was pretty cool.
The fight scenes are pretty dope in this movie.
Yeah, they were. But what was his fucking name? The dude who had Mad Game. Like when they got on the bus with Will and Layla, and they were like,
oh, Larry?
Yeah, Larry! Okay, they get on the fucking bus together, and the one dude is like, yo, move so Will can sit with his girlfriend. And they're like, oh no, we're not dating. And then Larry strolls up like, oh, you're not dating? Well, in that case, like, the dude's a fucking legend, right? He's this ginger cunt with fucking glasses. He does not look like the person who would have game at all, but he has mad game. Anyway, when Larry turns into the fucking rock monster and he's like chilling in the house, that looked awful.
But
anyway,
the gym reveal of the monster didn't look that bad.
It was alright.
It wasn't terrible.
It was better in that lighting.
It wasn't as bad as it was in the party scene, where he just like sitting
in
there.
The party scene, it looked fucking terrible.
Yeah, that was awful.
Right.
Why does Spider-Man go to the school, by the way?
I don't fucking know.
Like, in the party scene, randomly, just this dude like crawling up the walls, and Will's like, "Hey, stop getting cheese on the walls!" Like, okay, firstly, what the fuck cheese does he have? Like, what? Right, and secondly, who just decides like, yeah, you know what?
Fuck it, let's climb the wall.
Like, okay.
Like, what are you trying to achieve? You couldn't just take the fucking stairs? Like...
Yeah, right, and
where are you going? Why do you need to go up there?
And you couldn't clean your hands, dickhead? Like, like, yeah, I get, like, house parties get kind of fucked up, but, like, who deliberately puts cheese on their hands and is like, yeah, you know what? Fuck Will.
Honestly,
Let me just,
like,
real quick.
Santa, can you explain this shit? I don't know, man. Like, I'm confused.
Man,
is he even in the shot? Can you see Santa?
No, I just moved over a little bit so
that
you can see him.
Awesome.
And he's like really stiff. I guess he's just kind of nervous. I don't know.
Yeah, he doesn't want to talk. Get him out of the fucking shot now.
Alright, let's go back.
Alright, let's segue. What the fuck were we talking about? Where this was like the perfect place to segue.
Layla. I think.
Yes, Layla. Alright, so let's talk about the implications. Alright, what does this child teach? What does this child teach? Alright, what does this movie teach children? This is a Disney movie aimed at 10-year-olds. Segregation!
Segregation,
fascism, and a caste system.
Caste system.
But hey, that's high school.
So do you want to pop this off first?
Alright, okay.
Alright.
So, let's just give the broad picture. What does this society look like? Straight up, this is Hinduism, but worse. Yeah. Fuck, I'm gonna die. Alright.
Let's finish this podcast first, and then you can die.
Yeah, we gotta get the 4 views we're gonna get from this.
That's right.
Alright, so, it's the caste system from Hinduism, where you've got, like, the rich cunts, and then the untouchables, and a bunch of, like, other classes in the middle. Alright. we've got the heroes, the sidekicks, and then the people who don't have powers, who
So
are
just humans, I guess.
basically slaves.
Wait, no, like, so there's humans, but then there's like the defects, or like both their parents. Yeah.
So
you're
heroes, sidekicks, people who just aren't from superpowered families, and then people who have superpowered parents, but they didn't inherit their parents' powers.
Yeah, they're basically like a birth defect, is like what the doctor explained to Will at one point, because like he went to the doctor, he's like, oh my god, I haven't had my powers yet, like, what does that mean? And she's like, well, sometimes, you know, when you have two superhero parents, and she takes 2 lollipops, sometimes you create a fuck up that has no superpowers, and basically your whole life is ruined. Go fuck yourself. And like, now you're gonna be like Ron, you know, you're gonna be driving
Ron
a bus.
Wilson, bus driver.
Yeah, you're gonna be driving a bus for the rest of your life, and you're gonna make barely minimum wage. You're basically gonna clean up all the damage all those little shithead kids make in the cafeteria, and your whole life is ruined.
So, yeah.
Does Ron even have a home?
I don't think
Like-
so. He lives in the fucking bus. Let's be real.
Like
alright?
in the basement.
He
of the
never
school.
leaves the bus.
Right.
All right, so straight up, we have a society where, depending on something you can't control, depending entirely on genetics, you are either going to live a very comfortable life with a very comfortable career, or you're going to live a shitty minimum wage job and live in a 1-room apartment until you die.
Or in a bus.
Yeah, or in a bus. Okay, straight up. Like, your opportunities, your, you know, other word related to freedom,
Yeah.
it is entirely dependent on whether or not you have superpowers and whether or not those powers are deemed valuable. You know, for example, if you can turn into a fucking ball, you are a sidekick.
Right, but if like, you know, you have like 6 arms or some shit, you're a hero. Or like if you spit acid, you're a hero. You know what I mean?
And like, straight up, this society is awful. This is not like it is criticized by Layla, who you said you like, and I agree. Like when they fucking Jesus Christ.
Is that your superpower?
Yes.
Fucking
The ability to burp and talk while I'm sick. Anyway, so like Layla, for example, she when the coach is like, all right, depending on your abilities and your superpowers, you will either be made into heroes or sidekicks. And Layla says, sounds fascist, which is played off for laughs, and it's like, ha ha, stupid hippie. But like,
That's
agreed.
yeah, right.
Like, this is not fucking normal. This is not how a society should be run, and it is fascist. And it's like, what the fuck? I like, none of the people who like perpetrate this system are ever criticized. Like the dad character, he just laughs about it. You know, he's like, my dad, he would have beat my ass if I brought home a sidekick. And it's like, why are you laughing? This isn't fucking normal.
Yeah, like, can you imagine, like, in a different context, like, if the sidekicks were, like, for example, considered gay, which, honestly, like, that's how they're treated. They're treated as if, like today, or I guess, like, this would be more accurate, you know, a lot longer ago, I guess, because now we're more accepting, but, like, you know, gay, like, anybody that was part of the LGBTQ community was criticized, and you're like, ew, what the fuck? You're not normal. Like, you know, you need fucking electroshock therapy. Same thing with these sidekicks, though. They're, like,
Honestly,
treated as flamboyant, like, all-American boy. Like,
oh,
whereas,
he's
like,
gay as hell. Like, he's extremely gay.
and, like, you know, the commander's like, oh, if I brought a sidekick at my house, I'd get my ass beat. Or, like,
Yeah,
oh,
like-
I can never be caught dating a sidekick, never. And it's, like, so there's no such thing as an superhero couple, I guess, either. Like,
I never even thought about that, but yeah, like, it's basically like, you know, you don't date outside of your cast.
then that's another layer that's even more fucked up. And, like, you know, Layla, like, throughout the whole movie, drops these little comments where it's like, or like, for example, I don't use my superpowers unless I really need to. I don't believe in using my powers for violence, right? Or
Yeah.
like, you know, or she mentions to him, like, I think, you know, having an identity, whether you're a superhero or sidekick, is stupid because, you know, I just want to be who I am and I don't want to be, you know what I mean? And, like, that's a great fucking message.
Yeah.
And then the whole movie ruins it at the end when the commander's like, you guys aren't sidekicks, you're heroes! It's like, no! Just,
Like,
why can't they be, like, kick-ass sidekicks?
so like Layla, you know, says, oh, the whole system is stupid, you know, this idea of segregating people and being like, oh, you can't interact with them, they're sidekicks, like, that's fucking dumb. You know, we should all, you know, work together. It was a really hippie thing, but like, fuck it, man, I'm a hippie. Like, you know, we should all, you know, just get along and be friends and shit like that. I'm like, she's treated as a fucking idiot. Like, everyone laughs her off, including the lead. Like, Will is like, huh, you dumb bitch. Like, what, you think there shouldn't be heroes and sidekicks? You think we should treat everyone equally? Huh, you fucking moron.
Yeah, go back to your dope smoking mother, you fucking cunt.
Yeah.
Like, alright,
but like,
alright, Will, like,
then
Jesus.
At the end, like, all the sidekicks save the day. And, like, rather than, you know, treat the people equally, they're like, oh no, like, you guys have proven that you're worthy of being heroes. Like, they just get to move up in the caste system.
So it's basically like in Hinduism, like when you die, and like if you have good karma, you move up, right?
Yeah, like,
that's basically what they just accomplished.
like, the system is not criticized. And the people who do criticize the system and call it fascist are laughed off. They're treated as idiot hippies who are you know, are in favor of pie in the sky, everyone get along, fucking ideology. And after they establish, oh, the people who criticize the caste system are idiots, then, like, the movie itself doesn't criticize the caste system. They're like, yeah, this is normal, obviously. We should treat the sidekicks like shit. But these guys, they don't deserve to be sidekicks. You know, they shouldn't be treated like shit because they've proven that they are useful. You know, their powers save the day. It's like, that's not a fucking solution.
No, it's not. And, like, I wish the end of the movie was more so like, oh, you know, sidekicks are just as important as heroes. Like, they have the capability of being able to do just as much as a superhero and, like, save the day. And, like, you know, they could have had, like, themes about, like, teamwork, you know, like, equality and shit like that, where it's like, you know, you don't need to basically, like, tie yourself down to one identity, or, like, you don't need to be insecure about what your genetics are. Like, just accept yourself for who you are and just live your own life and do the best you can to make the best impact, right? But no, this movie's like, nah, you know what? If your genetics are inferior, so, like, if you're gay, for example, if you're black, I'm sorry, buddy, but, you know, you're not better. You're not as good as me.
Yeah.
You know, this white suburban fucking superhero. Like,
unless you prove yourself to be on my level by saving me from royal pain. Like,
yeah, right. And it's like, it's just so problematic. Like, the movie
honestly
had the chance to really be something. And, like, you know, if they left those comments in where they laugh at Layla, but then at the end they had, like, they turn a new leaf, and they're like, you know what? This is kind of fucked up.
yeah.
You know, we shouldn't be abusing these genetically defective, you know, non-superheroes and making them do our slave work. Or, oh, you know, we shouldn't be saying, like, you know, sidekicks and superheroes could never, they have to have different classes. Like, what's next?
Yeah,
they have
like,
different
what the
fountains
fuck?
too? Like, they have different water fountains and different bathrooms? Like,
they're completely segregated, and that's treated as a good thing. Like, they say, oh, you know, the sidekicks, they wouldn't like it here. You know, they wouldn't enjoy our company. They wouldn't get along with us. It's better for them to be over there, to be in their own classes, for them to throw their own parties, and for them to never interact with us. They fucking defend segregation. I'm not even kidding. Like,
Yeah.
that's how fucking problematic this movie is. I wish it was like Monsters vs. Aliens, where it was just a shitty movie, but it's a decent movie with decent writing and some decent action, but just an extremely fucked up message for kids in a Disney movie.
exactly. And, I mean, honestly, it's really just, the whole movie had the chance to do something great. Even if it wasn't, like, great in terms of, like, writing and, like, action and shit, at least the message could have been something.
Yes.
It could have been, like, progressive and, like, you know, something that people could be like, you know what? I fucking agree with you. You know what I mean? And maybe they, like, because this whole movie basically could just be a metaphor for, like, race.
Mm-hmm.
Like, if you just took out the superhero bullshit and instead made it, like, about your skin color, where you had a hierarchy of skin color, you know what I mean? And, like, you know, like, oh, white people are this, or, like, you know, like, or if you're black, you're down here, right? Like, literally could be the same thing.
Yeah.
And people would be like, what? Did this African American just upgrade to a white person? Like, that's basically what the ending was like.
Yeah, that's basically what happened. Like, imagine, imagine if they were all just black, and, like, the fucking commander just comes up to them, and either he's like, no, they're not black, and he, like, wipes off their he, like, cleans their skin, and they become white. That's basically the ending of this fucking movie.
That's literally, like, if you want to think of it like that, or, like, you know, if the sidekicks were gay, and then the superheroes are straight. He's not gay. He's not a fag. He's not gay. He is straight. Oh my god, he is pure again.
Honestly, like what the fuck?
Like that's just, man. And it could have just been like, you know what, you sidekicks or like, or you know, oh you're gay or you're black. You know what, we're just equal. We are just as great as each other. You know what I mean? And like that could have been a great message. And that's not even that hard of a message to like grasp.
Honestly,
I mean for some people it is.
It could have been
like, just
a fine, decent, fun little kids movie, but instead, it's this. It's fucking it's Sky High by Walt Disney. It released in 2005.
You know what though? It kind of makes sense that Walt Disney would endorse fascism and segregation, seeing as he hated Jews.
Yeah, I mean he was.
And he supported Hitler. So I feel like Walt Disney came back from the dead to fucking help direct this piece of shit. It's just he has an unnamed credit. Like they took his fucking body out of that frozen little like grave that he has under Disneyland or whatever the fuck. He came back. He's like, all right, boys, let's make a movie supporting Hitler, fascism, segregation, caste system. Let's fucking go. Like that's.
The only good part of this movie was War and Peace. The fucking dude. Like
great actor.
Yeah, he did really well, honestly. Everyone else was bad, was on a range from bad to fine / decent. The dude who played War and Peace, I don't know his fucking name. He looks like the actor who played Shark Boy in Shark Boy and fucking Lava Girl.
Yep.
But the dude who played War and Peace was genuinely good. He was genuinely entertaining. His jokes were fucking funny. I wish the movie was about him. Yeah. And I wish the movie wasn't pro-segregation. But, yeah, that's Disney in 2005.
Yeah.
What the fuck were they doing?
I don't know, man.
I don't know.
And I was gonna mention, you know how interesting of a storyline it'd be to have the character be the son of a supervillain?
Oh,
and
that would be awesome.
And like having him in a high school setting and he's like trying to fit in, you know what I mean? And he has to deal with like the anger of like dealing with the son of basically like the father. Holy fuck, what am I trying to say?
You can do it.
Sorry. And he has to deal with basically his enemy, like the son of the father basically that arrested his own father. Like that's fucking great. And like I liked his little like storyline. And I liked how genuine he was. Like, you know, like for example, like when he's trying to help Layla like hurt Will in some way and he's like and he like read the line where he like reads the line about love and it's from a fortune cookie but you don't know and he's like sounds super wise and it's like, and your lucky numbers are 49, 22. That shit was great. And like honestly, like if they made a movie about him and they kind of showed like, oh, you know, they show you not only like the power of forgiveness, you know, how to basically make yourself become like a better person, but then they also added the message of like, no, segregation sucks, no, fascism's trash, and the caste system, what the fuck.
Yeah.
That would have been a completely like superior film, and I feel like it would have been 20 times better in terms of writing and stuff, because you actually have a complex character and complex ideas, and then just kind of mix well. You know what I mean? Like that would have been fucking fantastic.
Yeah, there was some potential here. It was squandered.
Unfortunately.
It says here there are bloopers on the DVD. They should just put the movie on that section. But, you know. Yeah, I think I'm going to die, so let's wrap this up. What would you rate this movie out of 10?
Out of 10? So I'm gonna have to split this rating up into two things. So like one rating based purely on film alone, like the quality of it, and then based on the ideas. So based on the film quality alone, I'd give it like a 5 or a 4. I didn't think it was extraordinary, but I don't think it was like terrible either. It's just a 5. It's a solid 5. And then in terms of ideology, a fucking 0. Like a negative 10. Like whatever lowest score I can give, this movie is just a terrible thing to show kids
It is,
for them to
honestly.
understand.
But anyway, like I was saying, I don't think a kid is gonna take away from this, like, oh, I should go and, like, never interact with anyone who's different than me. But yeah, there are so many better things you could show a child. So, you know, I don't think it's, like, gonna it didn't fucking destroy America. You know, when this thing came out in 2005, the American Nazi Party did not become the most dominant thing in our political system.
Can you imagine if that was like the propaganda they'd use? Like there's like bald-headed skinhead fucks. They're like sitting together and they're like, "Hey, what's up, man?" And it's like they show Sky High. They're like, "Yeah, Nazi pride, let's go, boys." Anyway,
But yeah, anyway,
what's the rating? You give it?
my point is, I don't. It's terrible, and you shouldn't show it to a child. But like, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend that that's going to corrupt America. It came out in 2005, and we're fine. Things have improved. Gay rights were implemented. So anyway, because I'm a more generous person than you, I'm giving it a 6 out of 10 in terms of filmmaking.
Okay.
I think it's slightly above average, solely due to some of the practical effects that had to do with Will and the Commander's super strength. I thought them destroying things looked great and was hilarious.
Yeah.
And in terms of like the message or the moral that a child would take away from this, I'm giving it a 2 out of 10. For me, the lowest I could give is a 1 out of 10. So I'm awarding it 1 point just due to Layla existing and occasionally calling the caste system fascist.
Yeah.
That gets it 1 point, and it loses everything else in that regard. So basically, a modern masterpiece that we recommend you buy.
Indeed. And this is the My Pen is Huge podcast. We will be. What's the next movie you're going to be reviewing?
I don't know. I'm thinking Batman vs Superman: Dawn of Justice, but I don't want to. I don't want to commit. So probably BVS.
Or an even better suggestion.
You want to watch Click?
This fucking masterpiece. So it's either going to be Click, Batman vs Superman, or whatever the fuck we decide to watch.
If we ever gain an audience, we will let them vote at some point. But since the only ones who are going to watch this are like Drama Club, we'll just decide for now. But anyway, probably BVS or Click next time. I'm not going to say next week because I'm not going to guarantee anything.
Indeed.
But next time. So, goodbye. My pen is huge. Dab.
Bye, guys.
Cut off the